Neymar has a few haters out there who don't like him too much, but some players really hate Neymar. From the player who hates him more than anyone to the former teammate who blames Neymar for his exit, here are 8 players who hate Neymar. Let's start with one of Neymar's current teammates. It's no secret that Kylian Mbappé is the most powerful man at PSG. In the summer of 2022, it looked like he was on his way to Real Madrid, but PSG managed to persuade him to stay. What was their tactic? Firstly, they made him the most well-paid player in the game. And then on top of that, they gave him a say on tactics, hiring managers, and which players to buy or sell. And Mbappé has had a strange relationship with Neymar. Kind of love, hate. But Mbappé had a problem with how popular Neymar was with PSG fans, and also the fact that Neymar was the designated penalty taker. So in the first game since signing his contract, Mbappé told the new manager, Christopher Galtier, that he was going to be the penalty taker from now on. This caused tension with Neymar. Sure enough, PSG got a penalty. Mbappé took it but missed. In that same game, they got another penalty which Neymar scored, so obviously Galtier must have put Neymar back on penalties. Right?
Well, no.
Mbappé has the power at PSG, and he was kept as their main man from the penalty spot. The relationship between Mbappé and Neymar has been difficult, and rumor has it Mbappé has been trying to get Neymar pushed out of the club. Paris can't handle those two big egos. Speaking of penalty trauma, next up we have a former teammate of Neymar at PSG. When Neymar arrived at PSG, Edinson Cavani was a goal machine and a fan's favorite. The big Uruguayan striker was also the club's first penalty taker. Neymar was a whole different level of high-profile superstar with a mega-brand image that even a player like Cavani didn't have. So Neymar arrived and was instantly treated like royalty. This meant that Cavani was pushed from penalty duties in favor of Neymar. Dani Alves, Neymar's best friend, also joined the club, and the pair's friendship and training also annoyed Cavani. Cavani and Neymar were seen arguing on the pitch over the ball when PSG were awarded a penalty, and the tension stayed right up until Cavani left the club to join Manchester United. Cavani felt he was given no choice but to leave, realizing his position at the club was underneath Neymar. They met in a game between Uruguay and Brazil as rivals, and tensions rose with the pair starting a fight on the pitch. There's always friction between the South American footballing nations too, but the hatred of Neymar and Cavani made it worse. One of PSG's main rivals in Ligue 1 is Marseille. Games between the two clubs are always intense, and tempers can rise quickly. During one match between the two, Neymar and Álvaro González were constantly bickering during the game. Neymar kept provoking González, and he retaliated by shouting insults. 252. But Neymar was furious, accusing González of shouting racist insults. This angered González, who denied saying such things. But whatever the truth was, these two began fighting and started a brawl between the two teams. The next time they played, they couldn't disguise their hatred, and their war of words on the pitch also spilled over onto a very public Twitter
feud.
This wasn't just down to the club rivalries. González really can't stand Neymar, accusing him of being a cheater and a liar. González even posted a picture of him holding Neymar during a game and captioned it, "My parents always taught me to take out the trash." Who knows if González truly said what Neymar accused him of? The end result just shows that he despises Neymar for many reasons. But we're sure the feeling is pretty mutual. Sometimes Neymar lacks respect for his opponents, but also his teammates. When right-back Nelson Semedo arrived at Barcelona for $42 million, a lot was expected from him. He had an opportunity to make an impression during his first training session for the club, and he was eager to impress. After all, he had a legend like Dani Alves to follow and icons like Messi to play alongside. So when Neymar was dancing down the pitch with the ball at his feet showing off his skill, Semedo saw a chance to try and take Neymar out. That's exactly what he did when he gave Neymar a strong tackle and floored him. Neymar was furious and angrily jumped on Semedo. The Barcelona players had to pull Neymar off the new kid. Most of the team were disappointed with the way Neymar acted and sided with Semedo. It was nothing for me. I had the support of my teammates and friends. After all, I'd just arrived, and one of the most influential players in the team got into a fight with me. It seemed like Neymar wasn't too bothered with making a good impression on Semedo, and he probably expected to be leaving the club. A week later, Neymar was moving to PSG. Seems like disrespect is a major thing that Neymar haters often pick up on. Next up, PSG were playing Lille, and on the pitch Neymar likes to toy with his opposition. It was the last minute, and Jallo hit Neymar with the hard tackle. Neymar was angry and pushed Jallo over, who responded by shouting insults at Neymar. Thiago was raging and wanted to smash Neymar. The incident caused problems between the two sides, and the referees almost lost control. The pair were fighting and ended up getting sent off. The fighting continued in the tunnel after the game, and Thiago was really pissed when Neymar threw tape at him. As Thiago put it, in the dressing room tunnel, he said things to me that I ignored, even threw tape that is wrapped around players' ankles in my face. What did he say? I don't know, but they weren't good things. It is part of the game, but it is what Neymar lacks. A little more respect. Neymar needs to have more respect. The media. They have a share of responsibility. They always end up favoring the most media-friendly players who end up being more protected. Neymar maybe looks down on some players, and Thiago didn't want to put up with any crap. In the 2014 World Cup, Brazil were expected to go all the way and win the tournament, and their hopes rested on the hot young striker Neymar. Brazil came up against Colombia, renowned for their aggressive style of play, but Neymar started the game well and seemed impossible to catch. He drifted past defenders like they were not nothing, pulling off slick moves and looked dangerous. In truth, Neymar was annoying the hell out of the Colombia players, but none more than one Camilo Zuniga, who couldn't catch Neymar. Finally, he did get to Neymar though, arriving with an awful high knee in Neymar's back, ending Neymar's World Cup. The truth is, a lot of Brazil's rivals hate Neymar's showing off, skills, and his diving, so they play rough. Zuniga's dreadful tackle was so bad that at one point Neymar was told he was lucky that the impact wasn't a few inches lower, as he may have never walked again. Colombia and Brazil met again in the Copa America the following year. The game was similar with 19 fouls committed on Neymar alone, and many of these in duels with Zuniga. During a tussle, Zuniga flicked a hand at Neymar, leaving him with a bloody mouth. Neymar was so frustrated with being aggressively targeted that he reacted back and ended up being sent off. But it was clear that Zuniga really added in for Neymar and wanted to destroy him on the pitch. Let's take the Copa del Rey Classic like between Atletico Madrid and Barcelona as an example. These two teams always play aggressively against each other. The game isn't always about showboating and mocking the opposition with flicks and tricks, but Neymar didn't get the memo. Neymar had been teasing Atletico players all game, even kissing one Fran. This enraged the whole team, but Gavi in particular was pissed. He didn't think too much of Neymar's attitude and disrespectful behavior. There were angry scenes between both teams as players lost control. Gavi was angered by the way Neymar lacked respect for Atletico's players, as well as the way he continually looked to gain advantage by trying to dive and win free kicks and penalties. To make things worse, Barcelona won, sure. Being a bad loser isn't a good look, but when it comes to football, you can also be a bad winner by not showing grace. He should learn from the great players around him like Xavi and Iniesta. He has a funny way of playing, especially when he's winning. Speaking of winning, let's look at what a World Cup winner thinks of Neymar. Argentinian midfielders Enzo Fernandez hadn't been in Europe long when he came up against Neymar in a Champions League game. Back then Enzo was still a Benfica player, and like many games, Neymar was showing off his box of tricks and having a lot of run-ins with players. Neymar had a problem during the game, believing that Fernandez had been calling him an idiot. At the end of the game, when the time came for short swapping, Neymar refused Enzo, who pleaded his innocence. The pair were spotted having a heated discussion after the game, which lasted for several minutes, and rumor has it continued in the tunnel afterwards. Neymar just seemed to pay him no respect. At the World Cup, it seemed like the two players might meet for Brazil and Argentina respectively, but sadly for Neymar, Brazil got knocked out. Enzo had the last laugh though, winning the World Cup and being crowned the best young player of the tournament. He also earned a $100 million move to Chelsea. But we're sure Neymar isn't too jealous about that. But here's where things might get complicated, because Chelsea have their eyes on Neymar, and Todd Buell, the Chelsea owner, loves spending crazy amounts of cash. So who knows, the pair might end up as teammates. That would be awkward.